How does Lerdsila make defense look so effortless? Many fight fans feel that there is no one better than him at being untouchable. I mean, just look at the pure joy he has when he's fighting. You see, Lerdsila is so untouchable, the media dubbed him as the eel on the skateboard.
They call me fly like skate. Fly like skate means eel. The eel on the skateboard. The eel really slippery.
With all his legendary defensive moments, Lerdsila earned the title of being the most evasive fighter of all time. There is, however, one technique in particular that has made him a household name. That is a move inspired by the Matrix, the Lerdsila lean back. This technique leaves both his opponents and fight fans in absolute awe. He has honed this technique in so well that he's even able to pull it off while standing on one leg. Even though the lean back is commonly seen now, thanks for Sanchai and Lerdsila popularising it, there is still no one that uses it like Lerdsila. Look at the extreme grace and finesse when Lerdsila uses this technique. It is in fact also unique compared to how other fighters use it. From a technical perspective, evasion is the best form of defense because you take no damage when it is successfully employed. That means the lean back is the best defense against high kicks. However, pulling it off against roundhouses to the body takes another level of skill. The lean back against the body kick requires a lot more athleticism and fight IQ. See how Lerdsila makes it look so effortless. If he was to enter a limbo competition, we are sure he would win. Only a few fighters in the history of combat sports have had such finesse with the lean back. But it's safe to say Lerdsila is the king of limbo in Muay Thai. In fact, Lerdsila is so good at lean backs, he leans forward. You see, when lean backs are used effectively, they can lead to spectacular offense. This includes knockouts and sweeps from Lerdsila. If he simply wants to outclass the opponent and take them to school, it looks like this. This Lerdsila technique gives the fighter a huge advantage, catching the opponent off guard and at their most vulnerable. When used well, the lean back is extremely effective and should be in every fighter's arsenal. So how does Lerdsila do it exactly? When Lerdsila executes the lean back, he often shows mercy, effortlessly evading their strike only to watch the opponent panic. He will even hit the smoothest angle changes, all with his hands down. So in order to perform the lean back like the most untouchable fighter, we asked Lerdsila himself what are the mechanics of having such an effective lean back. Fight fans, welcome back to Lawrence Kenshin Striking Breakdowns. Today we look at how the most untouchable fighter, Lerdsila, was able to reign as king of the lean back. To understand how Lerdsila was able to do the Matrix in Muay Thai, we first must understand his style. Firstly, Lerdsila is from Jockey Gym, the home of the greatest technician fighters in the golden era of Muay Thai. Technicians are known as Muay Femur in Muay Thai. These are the most artistic and creative strikers, landing beautiful strikes, all the while making it look effortless. Jockey Gym was home to many champions who adopted the Muay femur style. Amongst them were Sanchai, Danny Bill, Somlak, Gao Glai, Robert, and Silapatai. Under the tutelage of the legendary Ajahn Pipa, the Matrix level Lerdsila was forged.
ผมสไตล์ของผมก็คือเป็นมวยที่ฝีมือครับเมื่อก่อนที่ผมเป็นคนที่ชอบดูมวยที่เป็นลักษณะสไตล์ฝีมือแล้วผมก็อย่างเช่นสมรักคำสิงห์ศิลปะไทยแล้วก็หลายๆคนครับที่ค่ายมวยจ็อกกี้ยิม
In fact, Lerdsila told us he doesn't like to get hit when he fights. This is why he immersed himself in the style of the Muay femur.
Yeah, because I don't like to get hit. That's why I love the ฝีมือ style ที่ call มวยฝีมือ
So in order to train and utilize Lerdzila's lean back, here are the things he suggests you should consider.
ซึ่งการ lean back ก็จะมีหลายรูปแบบครับแต่หลักสำคัญจริงๆของการ lean back ซึ่งถูกวิธีที่สุดก็คือการเอ็นตัวไปข้างหลัง
Yes, we are serious. Do not confuse the lean back with the pullback. Although pullbacks are effective, the lean back will have more advantages for the counter. If executed correctly, the lean back will keep you in a close range to your opponent. This catches the opponent off guard and oftentimes at their most vulnerable.
และสำคัญอีกน่าจะสำคัญเป็นอันดับต้นๆสำคัญที่สุดเลยก็คือการสเต็ปเท้าขวาออกไปด้านหลังครับเพื่อจะให้ห่างออกจากระยะของอาวุธของผู้ต่อสู้ครับผม
Stepping with your rear foot to create a wider base to distribute the weight. With the rear leg stepping backwards, this increases the range for the lean back and the spring back counter. The step back can be used off a kick or simply stepping back into the opposite stance, retracting into a wider and more stable stance. He's even able to do this with the lead leg, stepping off the center, creating new angles to execute the lean. When stepping with the rear leg, it is important to land on the ball of the foot, with the toes facing either straight or at a slight angle. It is crucial not to plant the foot. This will hinder the spring back effect when it comes to countering. Unless you are Lerdsila, who will just enjoy watching their opponent panic while taunting them. With a slight bend in the knee, while remaining on the toes, it is far more effective to posture up with speed and power to deliver your weapon of choice.
เพราะว่าการดรอปมือซ้ายลงด้านล่างก็คือการสร้างจังหวะการตอบโต้การเคลื่อนไหวการตอบโต้ผู้ต่อสู้ครับก็คือการดรอปมือลงข้างล่างมันจะดูสวยงามครับ
The dropping of the lead hand acting as a counterbalance to assist the lean and counter. With the dropping of the lead arm to the side, this counterbalance assists the quick lean back, help keeping the body flat and balanced.
Now lean back, yeah. Lean back here, we know, yeah, little bit. Yeah, slide. Here, touch one. We find touch one. Yeah. Yeah. Get like same. Same. And lean back to it. Up. Lean back to up. And block.
Helping create momentum for the recoil counter, acting as a spring in order for a fast counter. This arm swing will improve the overall balance of the movement throughout the entire lean. But as Lerdsila is at the Grandmaster level in the lean back, he will comfortably drop down with both hands by his side. Only when you reach God mode can you be so relaxed on evading such a dangerous attack. When Lerdsila does execute the textbook lean back, he will drop his lead hand down to his side, keeping the remaining hand above his eye line. This rear hand acts as a last resort block if the lean wasn't deep enough.
Perfect.
When applying the lean back, there are other considerations we have to take into account. Flexibility. Lerdsila has some of the craziest spine flexibility we have ever seen. His spine will literally bend parallel with the canvas. Being able to drop into a lean this deep and then posture up takes extreme flexibility, stability, and core strength. Although some are naturally gifted with this, there are ways to help improve these important factors. Mobility exercises and the exercises we design for striking can and will improve the overall depth, speed, and sturdiness of one's lean back. Focusing on the lead leg. In order to execute the deepest lean, Lerdsila will focus on his lead leg. Naturally, the lead leg will want to follow backwards into stance to compensate with the lean. However, to hit the parallel lean, Lerdsila raises his heel, bending at the knee, almost driving the knee forward as he drops his weight. This keeps Lerdsila within a close range, hitting some of the deepest, smoothest leans you will ever see. Reaction times. Like any athlete, training your reaction times is vital. Having the right reaction time is the difference between dominating your opponent versus being knocked out. It is safe to say Lerdsila has cat-like reflexes. Just look at how he effortlessly leans back into the check here, all with his hands down with absolute precision and confidence. Approaching the bigger fighter with his hands by his side not only baits an attack, but also gives Lerdsila a clear line of vision. He knows exactly where to look, how far to lean, and what strikes will follow. Pattern recognition and fight IQ. Understanding the style of your opponent and having the capability to read their fight style throughout the fight.
Use your brain, use your IQ for a fight. Don't use too much power.
Lerdsila famously said, "I'm not faster than you. I'm just moving before you do." So in order to do this seemingly impossible, dodging strikes before they even happen, we must learn simple body mechanics and pattern recognition. Dictated on the range, Lerdsila knows exactly what his opponents will throw and how exactly to evade. In the long range, he knows, especially in Muay Thai, that he is in the kicking range. The kicking range will give Lerdsila more time to read and react, giving him plenty of time to evaluate how far and how to lean. In closer ranges, although more dangerous, he will slip, pull back and lean back. Leaning in this range will give the opponent more opportunities to land, allowing for more follow-up strikes and counter opportunities. Within a shorter range, one's reaction times must exceed that of the long range. Lerdsila knows this, remaining untouchable and savvy to any follow-up shots. This ability to read punches and kicks is something every fighter needs to learn. Sparring consistently at a high level will give strikers the ability to pattern read. This is after all one of the secrets to why jockey gym fighters are so technical.
Yeah, the sparring in jockey gym, we like to sparring in jockey gym camp. They like to sparring because in jockey gym camp many fighters they training together. We just sparring all the time. We just sparring and no shin pad, because we have to know how to control.
You see, reading can also fall into the baiting category, another aspect of the lean that Lerdsila has mastered. He absolutely toys with his opponents, even those at world caliber level. This is unheard of in combat sports. Provoking their best shots is what some would think is a good way to get knocked out, but for Lerdsila, this is exactly what he wants. Unbeknown to his opponents, they are baited into these attacks. Lerdsila will also make himself look extremely hittable, dropping his hands by his side, pressing forward, making him look like such a badass. He'll even lean his head forward into the perfect range to egg them on, and when his opponents finally do fire, Lerdsila already knows exactly how to evade. They are playing right into his game, and this only frustrates them more and more. You see, Lerd will even stick his tongue out to further encourage the attack, and when they miss, he'll do it again. Footwork. Lerdzila's footwork when executing the lean back is a thing of beauty. Not many fighters are able to hit these leans all the while cutting new angles. With the opponent pressing forward, Lerdsila is as slick as can be, leaning back on the roundhouse with his hands by his side. He is literally watching the opponent land with his back to him. Instead of punishing this, like everyone would, Lerdsila simply sidesteps out of the way and lets the opponent fall forward. This is pure finesse. When the opponent is determined to hit Lerdsila after a lean, Lerdsila can simply hold the lean, stepping back into the opposite stance, looking for the opportunity to duck into the body, push under the armpit, and carry the rushing momentum and knee to send the opponent flying. Using the ropes. The ropes, when used correctly, can almost be a cheat code in a fight. They can be used to recoil, powering up your counter, or to give some boost to your movement. Lerdsila though, uses the ropes in favour of his evasions. When using the ropes to lean, Lerdsila places his rear leg or back just touching the ropes. Now, Lerdsila knows exactly where he is. To bait the opponents into throwing, Lerdsila adjusts his stance for the lean, drops his hands, and provokes with a lean forward. When the opponent is finally drawn into the bait, instead of leaning into the ropes, Lerdsila drops one shoulder slightly and leans into the top rope. This variation is typically used when countering isn't an option, providing a support for the lean, but eliminating a lot of the recoil momentum. The lean into the ropes is a high risk, high reward strategy. Yes, it will provide much more recoil for the counter, but with leaning back into the ropes, it is very possible to misjudge the range, getting trapped, and being exposed to the oncoming attack. But Lerdsila will still do this anyway. This was the Matrix lean back breakdown of the most untouchable fighter, Lerdsila. What do you think of Lerdzila's lean backs? Do you think it's possible to become untouchable like Lerdsila? We believe so. That's why together with Lerdsila himself, we released a course that gives you the knowledge to not only his leanbacks, but his success as the most untouchable fighter.
ครับผมสำหรับใครที่ชื่นชอบในสไตล์การชกของผมซึ่งเป็นสไตล์การชกประเภทมวยฝีมือและเป็นสไตล์การชกที่เป็นส่วนตัวของผมจริงๆก็สามารถมาเรียนได้ในคอร์สของผมนะครับซึ่ง
We go through all of his grandmaster level techniques, covering the basic techniques all the way up to the fanciest and flashiest tactics and strategies.
การสอนเทคนิคการเคลื่อนไหวการหลอกล่อคู่ต่อสู้การป้องกันตัวหรือการโจมตีคู่ต่อสู้ด้วยความเร็วก็จะมีเป็นการสอนการฟุตเวิร์กสอนวิธีการเล่นลมสอนวิธีการเล่นเชิงสอนวิธีการเตะกระสอบเตะเป้าหรืออาจจะสอนวิธีการเทคนิคในการหลอกล่อคู่ต่อสู้ให้คู่ต่อสู้เสียสมาธิแล้วก็โจมตีคู่ต่อสู้ครับ
This is the blueprint of what makes the most untouchable fighter so great. Learn from the legend himself at lawrencekenshin.com. Thank you for watching another episode of Lawrence Kenshin Striking Breakdowns. We hope you enjoyed our breakdown. We will be making more breakdowns of legends and integrating it with lessons from the legends themselves in the future. If you enjoyed this episode, please do watch another one. I'm Lawrence Kenshin, and thank you for keeping our channel alive.
Lawrence Kenshin number one.
Thank you นะ Lawrence Kenshin
The best
ขอบคุณครับ